Boston. But we got some new teams and some new talent in there.
We do. I like
and
it.
and I'm interested to see what the new talent does. There's some good matchups here. I think tomorrow it starts, Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday night we got the playing game, Lakers Pelicans. Then there's another game. Let me just double check. Oh, staying in the Western Conference, Golden State at Sacramento. So, hey, we'll see. Some of those older teams, like I said, older stars, LeBron and the Lakers, Steph Curry and the Warriors. We'll see if they got one more in them. See what happens there in the play-in. But there are some matchups that are already cemented. They're
Uh
not going
huh.
to change. And let's talk about those for a minute.
Definitely. Let's start off in the West, or you want to start off in the East?
Let's start off in the West.
All right. One of them is up. I think we both kind of are excited for this, just with the young players they have and the players just in general. Suns versus the Wolves.
I am super
Timberwolves.
excited for this.
Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, Stephen, all season long, right? I've been impressed. I've seen a lot of highlights with Anthony Edwards. They have a good team. Also with Karl Anthony Towns. I think they finished, second in the West, if I'm not mistaken? Or third, excuse me, third in the West
Mm-hmm.
this year.
Third.
So them to go up against the Suns, who, have the big three after the last offseason, and Beal, Booker, and of course Kevin Durant. And Booker's been ascending every year, playing better and better, being more relevant in the playoffs. I look for him to make a big leap against a young, hungry team. It's not going to be easy. So this is a matchup and a series that I'll really be keeping my eye on and paying attention to. And it's way too early to pick even any winners. But I'm just excited for the matchup, and I want to see who comes out on top.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I think it's so hard to pick a winner from this one. I think you're just more excited to see the ascension. For me, it's Ant.
Yeah.
Um, just what he's been able to do for these past 2 years, the growth that he's made in his game and what he's trying to do, um, has just been great to see. I think even with the Suns, when you look at it, where Beal wasn't playing at the beginning of the season,
Yeah.
and finally for the last part of the season, I feel that they've really been able to play together and get a feel for one another. I think that's going to be exciting. You know, I think you alluded to before with the Suns and their bench. That's the thing that kind of scares me. With the Wolves, I think it's just with Cat. So it's just very hard to say how can you pick
Yeah.
a winner. But I think this, if you're a basketball fan, you're excited for to see this kind of young talent with Book and Ant going against each other. See what KD really has, and for Beal, I think this is a great test for Beal because he's never really had this opportunity when he was in
You
Washington.
know he's going to be hungry.
You
Yeah.
know,
No playoff action in Washington.
exactly, and he played in the East. So now's the time for him to shine. He knows that this is a place where he can make his mark and for his legacy and what kind of player that he wants to be. So I think this is all a great season, a great start to the playoffs to see to see this matchup. So I'm excited for this one, really, Joey. I really
Me,
am.
me too, man. And I want to see how it's going to play out. Like we talked about, is it going to be a lack of depth for the Suns that's going to do them in, or will be a lack of experience for the Warriors? But either way, I think it's going to be a great matchup. I want to see these guys go head to head. Big fan of Anthony Edwards in Minnesota, Booker and Phoenix, and don't forget KD. He's not too old yet. He's still got a few, bullets left in the pistol. So I want to see how this plays out.
Definitely. I guess things are staying in the West.
Yeah,
Another matchup I'm looking forward to is the Clippers Mavs.
I knew you were going to say Dallas.
First of all, I mean, I think we both know how we feel about the Clippers. We don't care for them at all. Um, exactly. I think it's a rematch from the bubble. I think that the Mavs had their number back then. You can say whatever you want about the Clippers, but I think for the Mavs, they've just been rolling these past couple months. Kyrie and Luka have just been able to understand each other, play off each other's games, and understand whose night it is. Luka's always willing to give up, per se, that Batman title and just sit back and be that Robin for Kyrie. And for me, it's just they're always going to get their points. Luka's just grown so much as a player and just his mental toughness, understanding of the game, and what he's been able to do. Um, I know it's just somewhere to go on a limb, but I'm going for the Mavs in this one. I think maybe the time has passed with the Clippers. I've never trusted James Harden in the playoffs. To be honest with you, like for the past couple years, I've never really um, trusted PG and Kawhi. Just I don't know what it is. It's just they don't ever seem to rise up to the occasion. So for me, I got the Mavs in this one. I see them making a long run in the playoffs, to be honest with you.
Man, as much as I'd like to disagree,
Don't,
or not that I have to
don't,
disagree, but
don't you dare say you're going to go for the Clippers.
I'm not saying I'm going for Clippers. Let me lay it out
We
here.
would have to end this podcast right now.
The defense has to rest. No, but Steven, in all seriousness, the Mavericks. I gotta lean toward the Mavs. You know, the chemistry between Kyrie Irving and Luka has really turned on towards the end of the season. Just where Luka is at in his career, I think he's ready to take the next step. And look, you know, there's that old saying, "Too many Chiefs, not enough Indians." Well, with the LA Clippers, I think it's just the opposite. It's just Indians and no Chiefs, right? No real distinct leader. I know you got Harden there. I know you got Westbrook. I know you got PG, and I know you got Kawhi Leonard. But these guys are all aging. They've come up short the last few years. It's just something that doesn't sit right with me with the Clippers as far as putting my faith in them to get over the hump. With that being said, I know they finished the season off nice. They're sitting at the 4th spot. They did get a lot of W's. I won't be a hater. I'll acknowledge that. But yeah, I mean, I really think it's the Mavericks' time. I just wish they had that third player that's a solidified, you know, whether that be Hardaway Jr. or just a third player they can really count on. So that kind of bothers me a little bit about the Mavs. But you know what? Luka is such a special player, and Kyrie's probably the most skilled one-on-one player in the league still. I gotta go with the Mavericks on this one, but it's definitely going to be must-see TV. I will be keeping my eyes on it, and nothing makes me happier than to see the Clippers lose, to be quite honest with you.
Definitely.
So I'll be checking this out.
Yeah, and then talking about the playing games we have with the Lakers and Pelicans and Warriors and Kings. I think we're definitely both going for the Lakers. We want them to succeed. I'm pretty sure on that one.
Yeah.
But nice to see Zion in the playoffs, if anything goes with that. But for me, it's the Warriors and Kings. It's a rematch of last year. You know, the Kings are red hot in the beginning of the season, and they've fallen to, I think, the 9th spot. I think it is 9th spot. It is.
Wow. After that bang-up season last year, they fell all the way down to 9. Huh?
Yeah, they had a great starting off this season. They were hot, you know. I mean, Sabonis had the longest streak of double-doubles and everything.
Yeah.
You know, but Malik Monk got hurt, and just, you know, it seemed like he was the heart and soul of that team, and it's just hasn't been the same for them. I mean, you still have De'Aaron Fox, you still have Sabonis, but it's just
De'Aaron Fox was a monster last year in the playoffs. Sabonis too. He had times where he didn't show up, but he overall had a pretty good playoffs last season.
So you think the Warriors can do this against this young Kings team like last year, or this is one game? This is one game.
I was going to say, Steven, I think that the clock might be running out on the Warriors. I think I can start to see the sun starting to set. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Sun's going down. You know, kids come home, wash up, dinner time. I don't know. There are no spring chickens anymore. I still have a lot of faith in Steph Curry. But Clay just hasn't been the same. He's been declining. His great games are fewer and far between. Draymond, I love what he provides in energy, defense, chemistry, continuity, his passing. I just can't. Sometimes Draymond's his own worst enemy with the, you know, just right at the line there, taking it too far with the technicals and stuff, hurting his team. But really what I'm saying, Steven, I think age has caught up to the Warriors.
Okay.
And I know there's a lot of Warrior fans out there, and some of you guys might be disappointed, but I just think that, you know, I think their time has passed as far as them being a dominant team. I don't see them winning a series. Now, they're still good enough and experienced enough to make this a competitive series. I see it going at least 6 games.
Oh, this is just one game.
Oh, this is just a one game. This is playing. Excuse me.
Yeah, just one game, and then whoever wins this has to play the loser of the Lakers and Pelicans.
Oh, I'm glad you made that correction for me. Well, you know what? I got to go with youth. I got to go with youth and the Sacramento Kings. I'm going to give the Warriors a puncher's chance because they're such great shooters. But I think too many things have to fall and line up right for them. I think the Kings are going to get over the hump in one game.
Okay. I'm actually going for the Warriors in this one.
Okay.
For me, I think with Malik Monk not being there, I think the Kings kind of lost their identity in a sense. Because you still have De'Aaron Fox, who I think is a great point guard, still young. You have Sabonis over there, who's had the longest double doubles, consecutive
Dirty
games.
work down low.
But for me, it's always been with Sabonis. He doesn't have that killer instinct in him, and that's always been my play on him. I think he's a talented young man. Takes after his father, but I don't think that they. I don't know. I like the Warriors. I like the way they've been coming on. Clay's been coming on. He's been able to accept that 6-man role if need be. I see some of the young players that can come up and make a statement. I think it's going to be a time for them. So I do see them actually winning this game and probably playing the Pelicans. Hopefully the Lakers can do what they did tonight against the Pelicans. But yeah, I'm liking the Warriors in this one for that one game.
Don't forget, Steven, Mike Brown is the coach over there in Sacramento. He had all those years with the Warriors, so he
Gotcha.
knows Steve Kerr and what they like to do very well.
Gotcha. How many championships Mike Brown has won?
That's where he always gets.
How many championships Mike Brown won as a head coach?
You made your point.
Okay. Thank you. I think he's been to one finals.
I'm just saying he's familiar. He's gonna know.
Yeah. Well.
You know.
He was also the Lakers coach, and how good did he do then? Okay. We'll move on from that. Alrighty.
All right. Well, I got Kings. He's got Warriors.
There you go. Moving on to the East. I'll be honest with you, I'm not really excited about these playing games. I don't think any of these teams should be in there. The 76ers, I don't think they're playing with Joel Embiid. Even if they were.
Embiid's banged up.
That's so true. I mean, I like Maxey. I like what he brings, but
Maxey is playing well. He's a nice player.
They need Embiid.
This is the playoffs, baby. Yeah.
The Heat. Well, I think we said about them every year. They have hearts of a champion.
They do, and great coach. I love Spo. Spoelstra's a great coach. I just think they struggle to score.
But they need a big. Bam is not a big for me.
Yes.
So that's I'm not really into that. Hawks versus Bulls. Same thing. I don't know. I'm not very excited for it. It's kind of the same thing we have for the past.
I feel like whoever wins that series is not making it past the next round anyway.
Exactly. I mean, we've kind of had this matchup for the past 3 years, and it's been what it's been. But for me, Joey, I'm really looking forward to this Magic and Cavs matchup. I know they're not the most glamorous teams, and people are like the Magic. Yes, the Magic.
You can tell Steven's a basketball connoisseur. He pulled out the Orlando Magic and the Cavs.
I've always liked them. I thought they were a young team. They finally had a big in Paulo. Maybe I'm biased because he's a Duke guy, but I just think what they're doing is great. But I don't have them winning this series. I think they're still young.
Yeah.
You have Donovan Mitchell over there, who was with them with the Cavs, and I think for him, he has to make a statement because he's always been that, first round knockout guy. Got him there, and just he's just met with disappointment in the first round, and people have questioned him for so long. So I think this is his time to shine, kind of get out of the first round and make a statement. I love the Magic. I love what they do, but for me, I think they're still young and don't have the experience, Joey, that you kind of need for the playoffs. I'm sorry to say. Could there be an upset? Yes, but I'm going for the Cavs for Donovan Mitchell to make a statement.
Yeah, you need the experience, absolutely, Steven, because the pressure's on you. Everybody's watching, and where Donovan Spider Mitchell is in his career, he's got his own team here in Cleveland. He's not with Utah anymore. He should make that statement. If he wants to be considered a star, he should make that splash. Orlando's a good young team, and they have promise, but like Steven said, it comes down to experience. So I think it'll be a nice matchup and a physical matchup, but I do look for the Cavs to come out on top on this.
Definitely. And rounding up the last set of matchups that we have is the Pacers and Bucks. I think mid of the season we're interested in this, especially what happened with Giannis and his 60.2 game and them taking the ball, all that drama. But you look at the past, I would say, month and a half, you look at, the Bucks have been very, 500-ish with Doc being there. Not
pedestrian.
Very much so. I know, some players have been hurt and everything. Even with the Pacers, they traded for Pascal Siakam, and they've kind of dropped off in this past couple months. Tyler Halliburton. I hope I'm saying his name right.
Tyrese Halliburton.
There you go. He's kind of fallen off in his past couple months. Giannis kind of got hurt with Achilles, so I don't know how much he's going to play and I think it's up to him. If he can play, he's gonna play. But of course, you want to be careful with him. So I don't know. This series has not been the greatest for me. But for me, Joey, this has been about Doc. I think this is why they got Doc.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of Doc being hired. I don't like Doc's coaching. I don't like it. It just I don't.
Okay.
I read a lot what JJ had to say in his statement about Doc. So for me, I think this is why they got Doc. They knew that they could be the worst at fourth in the East, but they wanted Doc. I think in the playoffs, it's like here you have Middleton, who's your definitely 2 or 3. You have Dame and Giannis, who's 1-1.
And Brook Lopez too.
Brook Lopez, and so you have the good surrounding cast around them. I just think now it's the time for them to win it again, and I think it's on Doc. It's going to see what Doc has to do and see what kind of excuses he brings up if they don't win it. But this is one I can't say because it all depends on Giannis. If Giannis comes back, I think the Bucks have it. If he doesn't, it's going to be tough for the
It'll
Bucks.
be competitive, right?
Very competitive.
Man, Steven, the Bucks got to win this. If Doc doesn't get past this round, and they just have Halliburton over there, he's probably not getting a coaching job ever again. Not to mention, I didn't even mention Dame Lillard. Much how we mentioned Bradley Beal there now in Phoenix should have some hype because he's relevant in the playoffs. Same on the East for Dame, right? He's out of Portland. He's with Milwaukee. He's teamed with Giannis. He's with the right coach, Doc Rivers. He should be hyped coming out doing his thing. So
even with Middleton, I think that you're making a great point. I mean, you have Middleton. It's not a 2-guard show with him and like McCollum. I think he has Middleton there, who's a great shooter, a more of a bigger guy. So I agree with that point. But sorry,
no, it's all right, Stephen. And Middleton being the third option, that makes them even more dangerous. Look, it's Milwaukee. I would say if Indiana even stretched it to 6 games, they could feel good about that. But Milwaukee's got to put this team away if they're even serious. And there's a reason me and Steven haven't even mentioned Boston. We just think that they're so superior and so far ahead of everybody. They should beat anybody they play in the first round, probably in 4 or 5 games, to be quite honest.
Definitely, I totally agree with you. I mean, they really have a super team if you look at it,
Absolutely.
And that's why I mean, to be honest, I think they're the favorites coming out of the East.
The favorites in the East.
You have Jaylen Brown, Tatum, Porzingis. Who was the point guard? What is his name? I'm so horrible at that. He played for the Bucks last year.
Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday.
Gosh,
so yeah,
I'm drawing a blank myself.
Yeah, and they have a decent bench, and that's the whole thing is like they have a pretty decent bench as well to go along with them. So,
but Tatum and Brown been playing together all these years. They've gone deep in the playoffs. They got Porzingis. Come on now. They should handle their business.
Definitely.
Yeah, we'll talk about Boston later. We expect them to wrap this up.
Exactly. I think we'll talk about them next week when the playoffs have started and they kind of know who's playing who, and we'll get to see at least 1 or 2 games from each series. So should be fun.
Last thing I'm gonna say, Steven, no secret here. If you've been watching the show, me and Steven are huge Laker fans, and I'm just proud that LeBron is playing this great this late in his career. I think there's some other really good teams in the West. I don't expect the Lakers to go too far, but as long as they're competitive, and I just hope D'Lo can provide that kick that they need, play smart, good basketball, and really be that strong third option they need. Because as long as they're competitive and don't get embarrassed, I'm happy with that.
Definitely.
But I can be honest with my team.
Yeah.
I don't think they're built to go far this year in the playoffs.
Yeah, and as
There's some good teams out there, y'all.
If we're being honest, I really hate this play-in stuff. I really think it's unfair to the Lakers and Pelicans who went through the ups and downs of the season and made it in the 7th and 8th seed, and now they have to play these games to kind of determine if they're going to be in there. I don't know, Joey. I just feel like the first couple years was pretty cool, but I just feel like it's kind of messed up for these teams that have paid the price and gone through the ups and downs and was able to win these last couple months and came on in the right season, and here are teams who technically didn't make the playoffs and they get a chance to play in. And it's not my cup of tea, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I respect that. But hey, tell us what you think. Leave your comments. We'd love to hear what you say, and check us back next week when we have a recap of these games and see how these things played out. See if me and Steven were right.